The town of Farmington. Respecting history, planning the future.
It is 7 o'clock. We will now call the September 14th regular town council meeting to order. Brian, could you say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we are starting the evening after our summer sabbatical with some proclamations. The first proclamation for John Karwoski, and Brian, I believe you'll be reading that for us.
John, would you like to join me up here, please? Sure. John? As a former chair of the Economic Development Commission, as you were, and so much more, it is my honor and pleasure to read this proclamation to you. Whereas John Karwoski served on the Farmington Town Council as a council member from 1983 through 1987, as well as 2 terms as the Democratic Town Chairman. And whereas John Karwoski also served the town of Farmington as the first chairman of the Farmington Economic Development Commission in 1993. Since its inception in 1993, John has actively participated in the Economic Development Commission. During his tenure, the EDC hosted the annual Business Breakfast Series, the Beautification Farmington Program, and the Small Business Resources Series. And whereas John Karwoski was an active member of the Farmington Chamber of Commerce, elected as president from 1997 to 1999. During that time, he represented Farmington on the Board of Governors with the Greater Hartford Chamber of Commerce. And whereas John Karwoski was a founding member of Westerly Elderly Housing Community in Unionville. John served as chairman of the Farmington Housing Partnership, an advocacy group committed to providing affordable housing for the elderly and handicapped in the community. And whereas John Karwoski was a 50-year member of the Farmington Exchange Club, serving as president in the early 1990s. John was also a division director of the Connecticut District Exchange Club for many years and was elected vice president. And whereas John Karwoski has always maintained a focus on the public good and donating countless hours of time, energy, and personal commitment to better our community and enrich the lives of the residents of the town of Farmington. And whereas, in addition to his long-standing commitment to the town, John's true devotion lies with his loved ones, including his wife, Pat, his 3 children, Karen, Michael, and Christopher, and all his grandchildren. Now, therefore, the Farmington Town Council hereby commends John Karwoski for his excellent work on behalf of the community, and we hereby thank him for his selfless dedication and immeasurable contributions and commitment to the town of Farmington and its residents. The Farmington Town Council hereby extends to John and his wife, Pat, best wishes on their future endeavors. Dated this 14th day of September 2021 at Farmington, Connecticut, C.J. Thomas, Town Council Chair. John, thank you for everything, and I am pleased to consider you a good friend.
Thank you very much.
I'll let you go without a hat.
Nice color, too.
And through the miracle of Zoom, fortunately, John's family is joining us online. So we'd like to say thank you for all your years of service, and hopefully the next generation of those interested in service are watching, and they'll be calling and contacting us to step in and help fill some very big shoes. In the meantime, I believe our state representative, Mike D'Amico, has a proclamation as well.
Thank you, John. Can I put this on your seat for you? Sure.
Please do that.
Thanks.
Thank you for your indulgence, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to offer my personal congratulations to John, who has given so much to the town of Farmington over decades, and it's appropriate that we honor him tonight. So I would like to bring greetings from the State of Connecticut General Assembly. It's an official citation introduced by Representative D'Amico, Representative Exum, Senator Slapp, and Senator Lopes. Be it hereby known to all that the Connecticut General Assembly hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to John Karwoski in recognition of your many decades of dedicated service to the town of Farmington and its residents. As an active member of the Town Council, Democratic Town Committee, Economic Development Commission, Chamber of Commerce, Housing Partnership, and Exchange Club. The residents, businesses, and institutions of Farmington and Unionville are the beneficiaries of your selfless commitment and contributions. The entire membership extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued success. Given on this 14th day of September 2021 at the State Capitol in Hartford, and it's signed by Martin Looney, President Pro Tem of the State Senate, Matt Ritter, Speaker of the House of Representatives, and Denise Merrill, Secretary of the State. Congratulations again, John. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
I'm humbled by all of this. But I want to thank Mike for his kind words from the state. I want to thank the members of the Economic Development Commission, especially Bill Wadsworth and our Director Rose Ponte for their efforts in getting me to be recognized. It's very comforting to know that people support you and they're willing to help you out when the time is right. It's been a lot of years I've been involved in town, and it reaches a point where that you have to kind of step aside and get the younger generation to do it. And I'm glad to see there are some younger people, not only sitting here, but throughout the town, are willing to support efforts of the community. It's very important that people provide their efforts and time to represent the community, help out young people and others, and just to work hard to make the community a better place to live. I thank everybody for this, and I appreciate it very much for this recognition. Thank you.
Our second item on the agenda is a proclamation for Mountain View Farm. Joe Caponferro will be reading this one.
Thank you. Parks and family, you want to come up? How are you? How you doing? First, I want to thank Ted Jones from Jones Apiaries for letting me know about this special occasion for you guys. Whereas Mountain View Farm on Main Street was established in 1921 and has been a proud member of the Farmington business community for 100 years. And whereas Theodore Tater Hansen started Mountain View Farm on Main Street when Woodrow Wilson was president, a gallon of gas was 26 cents, and a dozen eggs only cost 47 cents. Whereas Mountain View Farm has survived the Great Depression, World War II, the moon landing, the introduction of computers and social media, and continue to thrive and serve the Farmington community for 100 years. Whereas Tater's children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren have continued to grow the business to include 3 farm stands in Farmington located on Plainville Avenue, Meadow Road, with all fresh food, local produce, and the best corn anywhere. Whereas the Paxton family not only continue to farm in our community, they also give to the community by serving on various volunteer boards and commissions. And now, therefore, let it be resolved, we congratulate Mountain View Farm and the Tater family for their positive contributions to the town of Farmington and for celebrating 100 years of successful business. Dated the 14th day of September, 2021 at Farmington, Connecticut, C.J. Thomas, Town Council Chair.
Thank you very much, and
Oh, you guys have done a great job, so thank you for all the years.
our state representative will be joining us up front, so don't go too far.
We got another one coming.
And I'd just like to say the first position I had in town was being an alternate on TP&Z when Skip was chair. So I had the honor of serving under Skip at that point in time. And it was longer than we'd like to remember. And the corn is particularly good this year, so I think you have to make sure you make a stop over there. Mike.
So, Mr. Chair, I would just like to clarify that it is Mountain View Farm that's 100 years old. It's not Skip that's 100 years old. Just want everybody to know. There you go. Okay, very good. So my congratulations personally, and also congratulations from the State of Connecticut General Assembly. Official citation introduced by Representative D'Amico, Representative Exum, Senator Slapp, Senator Lopes. Be it hereby known to all that the Connecticut General Assembly hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to the Pogson family and Mountain View Farm in recognition of your 100 years of providing fresh, local produce to the residents of Farmington and Unionville through your 3 farm stand locations, and for your dedicated service to the community by serving on numerous boards and commissions. The entire membership extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued success. Given this 14th day of September 2021 at the State Capitol in Hartford, and it's signed by Martin Looney, President Pro Tem of the State Senate, Matt Ritter, Speaker of the House of Representatives, and Denise Merrill, Secretary of the State. Again, congratulations to Mountain View and to the Pogsons. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There you go. Words of wisdom. They're looking for.
Well, when my grandfather was close to the end of his life, I went to see him and I said, I promise I will keep this farm going. At that time I was 18, 16. And little did I know I'd really be able to do it. But it has been wonderful, and we hope to continue it for more generations, and we're really loving it. And thank you so much.
And we actually have a great-granddaughter who is now working occasionally.
Wow,
I heard great there, but now there's great also.
fantastic. Congratulations, thank you.
Congrats.
Okay, item number 3 on the agenda is a presentation on wildlife feeding ordinance. Kathy?
So Brenda and Chief Paul Melanson are going to give us a presentation on the wildlife feeding ordinance proposal.
She's at the end. There we go. Hello, thank you for having us here. Oh, it's fine. We're here to present a wildlife ordinance, a wildlife feeding ordinance. You can go to the next slide. First, I'll talk a little bit about our bears. They desire to gain as many calories as possible with as little effort as possible. And our mother bears, our sows, are raising their cubs, often eating from our trash and our bird feeders. And these cubs are growing up losing their fear of humans. They're used to coming close to our homes to get our food. Next. So we've all seen it on the news and in social media. We're all seeing bears. We're seeing them, taking down the feeders, coming and ripping up the trash. The Farmington residents are educated and they know that this is happening. They see it all around. It's nothing new to any of us anymore. Next slide. And we can just go through these couple pictures here for you. What we see on social media and in the news. And here's what I'm seeing when I'm working in Farmington. There's some people that will put down large amounts of, whether it's bird seed or other attractants, and that can cause some problems. Next slide. So our goal is to protect humans and stop attracting wildlife close to our homes. I have many citizens that report concerns for their children and their pets when they're just out in their backyard or walking, to school. Many citizens complain about having to clean up the trash after a bear has dragged their neighbor's trash into their yard. The bears will often take off with the bag, go a couple feet, and then rip it up and leave a big mess. And then we have lots of people that love and invite the wildlife onto their property. We're here in beautiful Farmington, and we all love to see the wildlife that we have around us. That's one of the benefits of being in such a beautiful town. Next slide. So the DEP has put together a chart for me here showing the rise in conflicts that we have here in Farmington from 2015 to 2020. And you can see our birdseed and trash the green line is 2020. So that's taken a sharp increase. And that, again, is just the reported cases. There's many more that go unreported, but the reported cases, we're seeing a large increase of bird feeders, having bears lay down and spend an hour, munching down in somebody's backyard, and the trash too. So there's other, beehives, livestock, home entries. We've had several home entries. So we need to think about this and take some stands to make some changes. Next slide. So there are 4 towns in Hartford County that currently have an ordinance against feeding wildlife. Barkhamsted, Simsbury, East Granby, and Granby is the newest. And there are 2 towns in the Litchfield County having an existing ordinance. Heartland has had one since 2019 and Colebrook in 2020. Next slide. So I received a call from someone who was trying to do some work in their backyard. He said, there's a bear in my neighbor's yard. I've been making some noise, it won't go away. I really need to get outside and do this work. Can you scare this bear away? So here we have a sow that has been hanging around a school, and she's the bear with ear tags, but she's got her boyfriend there with her behind her. So if you click on that first video, there's some bird seed scattered on the ground there, and they're leaving the bird seed, and she's coming closer and closer to me. She doesn't care that I'm standing there. And remember, it's very hard for me to take a video while I'm doing my job because I need to really keep focus on what's in front of me. But I stopped the video to be a little aggressive with her and get her to stop, and she paused, and now you can click on the next one, since you don't care. She really doesn't care that I'm there, and she's going to continue doing what she's doing. And she's locking eyes with me, she's dropping her head, and she's coming for me anyway. When I go to schools and I talk and I tell children how to react if they're walking to school and they see a bear, you probably all have heard it. You look big, you make noise, you say, go away, bear. You bang the pots and pans. These bears are getting so used to coming close to us that those things aren't really affecting them that much anymore. So, next slide. So if we do not change, there will continue to be growing risks of serious conflicts between bears and residents as well as their pets. So I'm hoping that we can make some changes and resolve this problem before anything gets worse.
So what we're going to come next month and do is if there is interest, is come up with a ordinance. Most of the ordinances that you have seen that we described here, Barkhamsted, Simsbury, they're all fairly similar, and it's the intentional feeding or the unintentional of leaving your garbage out. And really our goal is, because we have people who intentionally feed the bears because they like the bears coming in, and they may enjoy that, but the people who live next to them who have young kids, they do not like that. And obviously it creates an issue. And so that's, Brenda had brought this to me a couple months ago, and we had worked on it. We talked to some other animal control officers in other jurisdictions, and they said it's a good way that we can then tell people you can't do this, because there's nothing right now that we can do when they're actually intentionally feeding the bears. And so we get numerous calls. Brenda goes out routinely to handle these. They're by the schools. Even today, we just got a call a couple hours ago when the buses were letting out. There's a bear in the area and the bus is about to stop and let the kids out. So our idea is that we do not want them to think people are friendly, because then they will continue to approach people, continue to get closer and closer, enter their homes, their garages, and those sorts of things. So that's really what this bear ordinance is. And it's obviously our idea would be, at least we would educate people, and that would be our first course of action. So if there's any questions, we'll be happy to take them.
Questions from the council?
I have one. Living near No Wallace, we see quite a few bears in the neighborhood. What is there any kind of protocol for the schools if a bear comes onto the playgrounds or the properties or anything like that right now?
Yes, do you want to, because you go to them all the time, but we've had many issues with this, including a bear den next to one of our schools. So if you want to talk about that a little bit.
What the schools have been doing, if they've been seeing a bear, is having the students come in if they're on recess. Or I've had children walking on a walking path and they have to turn around and go back, because there's a bear in front of them. You can scare it away, but it might go around the corner. You don't know how far it's going. And they'll often, if you scare it away from one area where there's trash or birdseed, they go a couple homes up to the next trash can or whatever, food source there is. So they're pretty much, they call us. We go out and try and scare them away and get them away, but if the school sees them, they're pulling the children in from recess or whatnot.
And just one follow-up. So you're in the schools right now as it is, educating the kids if they should come upon a bear, and the parents with, in their backpack, their folders and all that stuff. So we're actually getting the word out to the kids and the families as we speak.
I've talked at the high school, the alternative high school, Westwoods Upper Elementary. So I've done lots of educating each time I go on calls, even for other things. I mean, I love bears. I like to talk about them. Everybody likes to talk about them. So I try and educate as much as I can.
That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions, Joe?
So you're talking about educating, so do we, like a 2-strike rule, 3-strike rule? Do fines go up as they are more habitual? Are you looking at something like that?
So it would, each day of them feeding the bears would be an additional fine. So the idea would be that Brenda would work with them to explain, because right now she has explained, hey, having your bird feeder here, this is why they keep coming back. And the next day the bird feeder's up again and the bear is back and the neighbors are complaining. Or they're putting food out and the neighbors are complaining, the bears are always coming through my yard because they're feeding. Brenda will explain to them, it's not neighborly and it's not safe to feed the bears, and there's nothing else that we can do. So they know. So here it would be, look, it is a violation to do this. We can point them towards the violation.
And then if we get a call the next day, we would probably warn them again, work with them, and then after that, we would fine them and tell them every additional day would then be an additional fine if they were feeding the bears. And so that's kind of our idea, is that most people will listen if they know that it's a rule, but right now it's not a rule. So we like seeing the bears come, they say, and we like having them here. So that you have several kids and that it just, but there's no rule against it. So
There's no nothing from the DEP for?
not a statewide, no.
Okay. And what type of fine are we looking at?
So it would probably be the $100.
$10.
Yeah, it would probably be the $100 that we normally do. And again, there's an appeals process that they would go through. They can appeal to the town, and it would work like any other town ordinance appeal, that there would be a hearing. So people would have their, their ability to appeal any fine. But again, that would be a last resort. Our idea is, by doing this, it's a part of the education piece, right? And then now we have the enforcement piece of, now we've educated you on it, now we have to enforce it because it is getting bad. So, and most of the ones that we go to, right, I mean, people who have bird feeders up, and there's certain bird seed that you can have year round, because bears don't like certain bird seeds. But people who have bird feeders up that continually put them up and they're feeding the bears with their bird feeders, it would be an education piece first, right? That's what we would try and do, as an education piece. But we're not going to go around looking for people with bird feeders, right? It's going to be when we get a complaint, hey, the bears are always coming through and we see them always at the bird feeder, that's when then we would start the education with those residents. And then if they continued, that's when then we would be looking to use this ordinance. So that's kind of what we're envisioning. And I talked to Sims, almost none of them are issuing infractions, because just having the ordinance is the education piece, saying, look, it's a violation. And people say, okay, and they'll take it down.
Thank you.
Other questions? Brian?
Just one quick question. Have there been any or many human-bear interactions which have been dangerous or even worse?
There has not been a human attack by a bear, but we've had people out in the yards with their dogs where the dog goes after the bear, and then, just by their size, they're a dangerous, animal. But they're pretty non-aggressive, but when a dog is loose and runs up and goes after a bear, which is what often happens, and then the humans running after their dog to try and get their dog away, there's definitely a potential, risk for sure to humans. You come around a corner and there's a bear right there. Usually the bear wants to go on its way, but if there's a cub right there, but no, we haven't had really, we've had home entries, and that's, I think that's a human risk.
Well, I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and we've seen, I think we've all read the stories outside of Farmington of bear-human interactions.
Burlington, Granby, and then we've had dogs that have been attacked by bears.
And bears don't know where the borders to the towns are, so.
Yeah. And it's interesting because they roam 7 miles a day, right? So it's a large area that these bears can cover. And anybody who's and everybody's seen a bear up close, but when I say up close, I mean like a tranquilized bear. The enormity of the strength and size of these bears and the claws is really unbelievable, and how nimble and quick they are to climb trees, to run, to jump fences. It is pretty amazing. So although the black bear in Connecticut doesn't have many attacks, we've seen what they've done when they've entered houses, or the car in Canton, or right? I mean, it's just, and if they get more and more comfortable with approaching people and knowing that that's where our food source is, we don't want, that's what we're trying to stop.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I think it's clear common sense hasn't been working, so we need to give you another tool to encourage people to do what they should be doing. So I think we'll just ask the council for consensus that we'd like the chief and Brendan to move forward on this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
All good?
Yep.
So next month, you'll set the public hearing, and you'll see the ordinance, and what the changes, and then you'll set the public hearing for the following month. And then at the following month, then you'll have the public hearing and then approve the ordinance if you want to.
Great, all right, thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is the presentation on the Fire Station Building Committee. Kathy, you want an intro on that?
Yeah. So this is Steve Hoffman, our Director of Fire and Rescue Services. And as you know, in the capital budget, and we've been talking about it for some time, about renovating our fire stations. So I thought it would be helpful for the town council to kind of get a summary of where we've been and what our next steps are. And as you know, in our budget, we are planning on setting up a building committee, and we have some startup money for the fire station renovations. And Steve, maybe you can introduce, the chiefs are here too, and introduce them, and then do the presentation.
Sure. Mike Rebulis, he's the volunteer chief at Farmington Fire Station, and Chief Rich Higley from Tunx's Hose. And Dave Saplinski was unable to make tonight, but he's the chief of East Farms. All right. Next slide. We did that. Next slide. So this is an overview of the last renovation we did in 1999. It was about 22 years ago. It included the construction of the Southwest Fire Station, the demolition and construction of the Oakland Gardens Fire Station, and some upgrades or renovations to the 3 main fire stations. Some of those renovations included a second floor for Farmington, new elevator, generator, HVAC updates. East Farms, we had a new bay, replaced the roof, some asbestos removal, again, HVAC upgrades, some underground electrical services. For Tunxis, we redid the parking lot, put a new generator, put on an additional add-on in the front of the bays and the dispatch office, and upgraded the HVAC. So this is what we did about 22 years ago on the current main stations, and then obviously the 2 substations. Next slide. So through this, in 2014, the fire department decided to start doing some legwork on what we need to do on our fire stations. So we did a study in 2014. We had a consultant come in, addressed some of our requirements for building and fire code, site accessibility, fire and safety and health concerns for the firefighters, operational space for administration, apparatus, equipment, things like that. Also the building systems, which obviously we saw becoming obsolete and needing much more repair and most likely replacement, some structural and design deficiencies that we had, as well as energy use, efficiency upgrades on all the sites. And that was about 7 years ago we completed that study. Next slide. 2018, we did a second study, which was 3 years ago. And we want to look at the firehouses and where they were now. And were they in good locations based on our call volume, the community's future growth, response of our volunteer firefighters, and the community needs. We also considered some other target hazards, where the call volumes were and our hot spots were, and if those fire stations, based on call response times and how long it took for the fire truck to get to the incident, were they all in good locations for that. So we did a study, and that just gave us more information to see how we were with our current fire stations. Next slide. So we identified some code compliance issues through both studies. This included some ADA issues, some code obviously upgrades through the years because it hasn't been upgraded for 22 years, so some things have changed since then. Inadequate ventilation and decontamination facilities in the firehouses, proper ventilation between the apparatus bay and the living quarters, firefighter health and safety, cancer prevention. That's a big topic for us in the fire service, so we're looking to upgrade our firehouses to provide that better health and safety location. Social rooms located underneath the apparatus bays in one of the fire stations. The fire apparatus are way heavier than they used to be, so those floors are taking on more weight, and obviously there's people underneath them. And if you've been at that firehouse and heard the fire truck back into it, you'd know. So looking at those things. Building systems, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, all those upgrades which are coming up on their lifespan. We're obviously seeing increased repairs on that. We've had to replace circulator pumps, heater exchanges. All those things are starting to fail now and costing more money as far as maintenance goes. Lack of available space. As the call volume increases and we're spending more time at the firehouses, more people are there, need more space for gear, need more space for training and meeting. Our training requirements just continue to grow. So being able to have adequate training space is important. Office space. Two of the firehouses have one office for all their officers. That includes their chiefs and line officers, which is not really conducive for the administrative work. So the idea would to have more office space for them. Lack of space for gear rooms and SCBA. The idea is to take the gear out of the apparatus bays and put them in a separate room because the exhaust from the apparatus tends to cling to that, and again, cancer prevention. Bunk rooms and sleeping quarters potentially as we look at the future of the community, potential live-in programs, overnight calls, doing some type of scheduling with the volunteers for staffing the firehouses overnight if that was done. So to have that for the future. Exterior drainage issues, standing water around the generators, downspouts aren't properly getting the water away from the building, so we're having leaks inside the building, which obviously is increasing dampness and things like that. Roofs all are having drainage issues. We're having them inside the building, so obviously our building maintenance is going around and trying to fix those repairs. One of the firehouses has a slate roof on it, and it's a historical building, so to maintain that comes an elevated cost. Parking lot issues, just the limited parking. At East Farms, they have to park on the side or in the back. The property on the right side, we've gotten the okay to park there currently, but should that be developed, we might lose that opportunity. So limited parking also at Tunxus. Fire protection, all our fire protection systems, while we're doing the maintenance and we're looking and doing the inspections, we're finding that those things need to be replaced as well. And that goes along with the fire alarm systems as well. They're obsolete. We can't even find parts for them. So we're kind of trying to make them work as best as we can. Efficiencies as far as updates, potential solar panels on the firehouses, getting rid of the oil and propane tanks of the firehouses and hooking up to natural gas if that's an opportunity. Water control faucets, more water efficient things that are in the firehouse so that we're not using as much water. LED lighting throughout the firehouse, better windows that are obviously more energy efficient. So those are some of the ideas that were identified through those studies. Next slide. So in conclusion, we're recommending that the Town of Farmington Fire Department under the Farmington Town Code and the Town Council consider a statement of needs for the fire stations for establishing a building committee with a charge to further investigate the construction of new stations or renovations of the current fire stations based on what the findings of that committee are. Next slide. And these would be the next steps: approval of a statement of needs by the Town Council, and then appointment of a building committee and approval of a committee charge if there is the approval of that statement of needs. And that is the presentation on the fire stations.
So the purpose obviously was trying to just give you a history of where we stand, and it's hard to believe that our fire stations really have not done any real major work in 22 years, and our new fire stations are 22 years old, right? Yeah. So it's been on the docket. Steve and the chiefs have done a lot of work. We have a lot of the data to go with it, and I really think it's time now that we look at approving the statement of needs, which will be very similar to what you just saw here, that these are the needs, and then it would be establishing a building committee. What we have done in the past is have I think like one member from each of the 3 fire stations to be part of the committee, some town council representation, and a couple of members of the public, something along those lines. So if, we don't have to have if there's any questions with Steve and the group, but I think that would be something, if there's consensus, you'll be seeing on your agenda in the near future.
Great. Why don't we start? Any questions? You did obviously a spectacular presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have a consensus to move this forward?
Yes.
Absolutely, thank you. You gave
All right.
a good showing of the needs.
Thank you so
Before
much.
you all go, I would like to say while you're here, if you could relay our thanks. This has been a particularly difficult few weeks for all of you. We've had the storms, we've had the flooding, we had the unfortunate crash, and you also did a spectacular job at the 9/11 Remembrance. So thank you to all the first responders, the fires, the EMT, the police, and all of you. We really appreciate everything you do, and just a thank you from the council.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we will be moving on to item D, public hearing, having none. Item E, new items, none. We will move on to item F, public comment. Anyone who has any comments to say, please step up to the microphone. If you'll give your name and address. Oh,
CJ, we do have the new item. For
oh, wait, sorry, one moment, we do have a new item, thank you. New item. Getting ahead of
I
myself.
make a motion to add the item L24, Unionville Historic District and Properties Commission alternate.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously, thank you for catching me on that. Okay, so we have added item L24. Now we can go to public comment, thank you. Right. Name, address, and generally we keep to 5 minutes.
My name is Mark Wilson, 61 Eli Road in Farmington. I'm here tonight, well, first, I have a history of being long-winded and telling too many stories, so I've written my
So
comments
5
tonight.
minutes then, okay, I get the clock running now.
You're welcome. I'm here tonight representing, though, not myself, but Wilson Development and WD2, the owners of the Bridgehampton Crossing development off River Road. There was some confusion, I think, in our application to be on the agenda tonight, and I guarantee if there was confusion, it was on my part. We'd requested to be on the council's agenda this evening in order to discuss the reconfiguration of Lot 76 within Bridgehampton, which would involve a land swap with the town of Farmington. The information which was provided to council on this matter has been placed in the reading of communication, so no discussion could occur as I understand it, and no decisions can be made by the council, again, as I understand it. This may be the process to eventually being a business item on the agenda. It's not clear to me, but I'm requesting formally that this item be placed on the next council meeting agenda as a new business item. As always, if any council members or staff have any questions regarding this matter, I'm available at any time. I just want to make clarification of that.
Thank you. That was quick. Okay. All right, moving on.
Zoom.
What's that?
Zoom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have any questions from the Zoom community? What's that name again? Just kidding, Jay. Jay Tulin, can you hear us?
Very funny, CJ. It's Jay Tulin, 39 Timberline Drive. That 860-470-5156 is me. I'm going to make this brief because I know you guys have a lot of stuff. First of all, can you all hear me?
We can.
Okay, good. I just want to take a minute or two to talk about the second annual Anti-Defamation League Walk Against Hate, which is something that I've been speaking on at a number of meetings. I think you guys might have all gotten some communication from me. I won't ponder that too much, but I think it's very important that it's my intention to continue to speak about this up until the date of the event as much as possible because I think it's that important. The event is, like I said, the second annual Anti-Defamation League Connecticut Walk Against Hate. It's at the Watkinson School on Sunday, October 10th. It is a fundraising event. I also am hoping to coordinate teams to represent Farmington at this walk because I again think it's that important. I just want to read an excerpt because I'm not sure what people know about the Anti-Defamation League, but I kind of excerpted something from their webpage that I just want to read, and then I'm done with my comments. The Anti-Defamation League works to protect all marginalized groups from the devastating impacts of extremism, reduce bias in individuals through education, and create an environment of laws and norms where all groups are treated fairly and hate has no home. Again, October 10th at the Watkinson School. There is a registration fee. I think it's $25 for adults, $15 for youth, and free for children under 4. I do think it's that important to participate, and it is my hope that Farmington can have some presence at this event. I appreciate the opportunity to speak, as always. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jay. Anna, do we have any other Zoom questions? Hearing none. Now we will move on to item G, reading of the minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of the July 13th, 2021 regular town council meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Item H, reading of communications and written appeals. We have 4 letters that were sent in.
You have the 4 letters that are attached in your packet. We have, I think it's a person recommending a mask mandate, a person not saying do not do a mask mandate, and also we have Mark Wilson's correspondence with his backup.
Okay. And I think we had 2 no's and 1 yes masks, if I recall, of the 4 letters. Okay. Item I, report of committees, Land Acquisition Committee.
Nothing new to report.
Okay. Green Efforts Committee.
No report. Our next meeting after taking a break over the summer will be on the 21st.
Thank you. Farmington High School Building Committee.
Yes, we met this past Wednesday, and just a couple items to note coming out of that meeting. There was an initial preliminary meeting. Well, I guess first of all, the schematic design is ongoing and continues to move forward with TSKP partners. And there was a preliminary meeting with our owner's rep and TSKP and other individuals with the Office of School Construction Grants Review at the state, and the general feedback was just to give them a sense of how the project was going and where we are, and that was well received, and so we're moving forward with that. The most substantive development from last Wednesday's meeting was that we did review the 10 responses to the RFP for a construction manager. The committee selected 4 firms that will be coming back next Wednesday for interviews. So we will meet next Wednesday to interview our 4 candidates.
Great, thank you. Racial Equality Task Force.
Yes. We're going to start scheduling our fall meetings, and over the summer, our subcommittees have been working on a variety of topics, including youth and police initiatives, an RFP for a consultant webpage, Diverse Farmington, and initial meetings have also been held to discuss economic goals, and our next community conversation as well, health disparities.
Great. Okay, item J, report of Town Council Chair and Liaisons. We start with the Chair's report. And I'd like to announce that our generations of fiscal restraint and strategic planning continue to pay off. Moody's has reaffirmed our AAA bond rating, and that is certainly good news in light of the large bonding we plan on doing in the near future for the high school project. I do want to just remind everyone, when we passed the building referendum, it was under the understanding that we would lessen the tax impact going forward by continuing to be fiscally responsible in the future. So this is very important that we continue what we have been doing for generations so this doesn't have as large an impact on the community. On item N3 later on, we'll be discussing in detail revenue and expenditure victories for the fiscal year of 2021. Our revenues, fortunately, were doing well. And our spending was down, less than anticipated. So those are good news. We'll hear more about that later. This summer, it's brought about a great deal of activity. Unfortunately, not all good. As I mentioned a bit earlier, when our first responders were here, there were some weather events going on, winds, flooding, heavy rains. So please try and continue to help all those affected, particularly our farmers, not just the one. We've got 8 farms in town that you can help support. They had some tough breaks with the flooding. We also mourn the 4 souls that were lost in the tragic airplane crash, and we offer, again, our sincerest thoughts and support for the Trump community. The Scouts this past Saturday put together a fantastic 9/11 Remembrance Day, replete with speakers, the big flag on the fire truck, and a very nice showing. It was pointed out that all of the Scouts, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, and Girl Scouts that were in attendance were not even born 20 years ago when 9/11 occurred. So it's just that much more important to explain to them what went on, and particularly the first responders telling some of their stories. Our own former chair, Jeff Hogan, shared some of his stories. We sent 9 Farmington first responders, took Engine 4 down there and went to the Twin Towers to help with the work. They left at, and Peter Master Batista up here was one of them,
They left at 3 o'clock in the afternoon of 9/11 to go down there and help that effort. So thank you to all of them. On the positive side, we've gotten some great use of our trails, the parks, and the riverfront. People did a fairly good job of carrying out what they brought in, so thank you for that. Our community's also done a great job post the worst of COVID in the past when we started to open up businesses. We've been supporting them. So our business community has seen the improvements, so thank you for all of them. Also, vaccination rates have continued to rise in Farmington. We've had over 90% eligible getting their first shot at least. So thank you all for that. And most recently, our COVID cases have been continuing to decline, so that's also a positive. One other note I'd like to make, if you would go to your the Farmington webpage and you'll go to the government section, under that section is the board and commissions booklet. You can scroll through. There are numerous opportunities for people who are willing to volunteer their time. We have many positions available. You could contact the town manager's office and let them know of your interest. We gave a presentation earlier today for someone who has donated 50 years of his time to help out. You don't have to commit to 50 years. Any amount of time is good, but please, we welcome everyone to join in. With that, I will move to the Board of Education liaison.
No formal report, as the Board of Education has not recommenced meeting yet. Their next meeting will be on Monday, the September 20th, so I'll have a more substantive report. Other than that, just speaking with Superintendent Greeter, the school season year is off to a good start with in-person learning, and everything is going well.
Thank you. Economic Development Commission.
The EDC met on September 1st. Evan Dobos from Civic Lift and our Economic Development Director, Rose Ponte, gave a demo of the new Explore Farmington 2.0 website. We'll be hearing more about this when Rose shows the website to the Town Council. I think that's at our next meeting. The EDC also hosted their fall business breakfast event on September 9th. The keynote speaker was Mr. Mike Goman, Principal Advisor in Development Service at Goman & York. Mr. Goman discussed redevelopment trends and opportunities of commercial real estate post-COVID, and the event was very well attended. And our next meeting is scheduled for October 13th at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you. Farmington Historic District Commission.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Housing Authority.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Human Relations Commission.
Yes. Our last meeting, we had a presentation by Susan Schnitzer, President and CEO of the Institute of Refugees and Immigrants. We also recognized two students who graduated and are attending their first year of college, Bella Sefrandini and Mercery Adekola, as recipients of the Farmington Community Services Award for all their outstanding work they've done for our community. We're finalizing our plans with the HRC disability voter registration. We had an event today at 2 o'clock at New Horizons, and I believe it was a pretty good attendance. Paula, you were there today?
No, because they limited it to only 2 people that were able to come because of the COVID control.
Okay.
So it was Ann and I think Nancy who went.
Okay. We welcomed our new member, June Liu, and our next meeting is October 25th, where Katherine Kramer, our town planner, will be sitting down with us and talking about affordable housing plans.
Great, thank you. Library Board.
Nothing to report, but tomorrow night is our meeting from after summer break.
Great, thank you. Town Plan and Zoning Liaison.
TPZ held a meeting last night. The major topic was a public hearing for 402 Farmington Avenue, an application for a special permit for blasting to construct the multifamily developments on lots 40 and 40B1 Farmington Avenue, and it was approved.
Great. Unionville Historic District Commission.
The Unionville Historic District Commission met on September 2nd. The commission is continuing their discussion regarding the review and update of guidelines in the historic district, and the next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, October 7th at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Unionville Village Improvement Association.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Water Pollution Control Authority.
Only thing I can say is everything is still flowing in the right direction.
That's the best news we've had all night. And any other liaisons or commissions anyone wants to report on? Okay, seeing none. We report to item K, the report of the town manager.
CJ, you hit a couple of my items, so
Sorry.
That's okay. Just September 28th, that's our next town council meeting. They're typically a workshop meeting, and I thought that we could have a presentation from Rose Ponte on Explore Farmington 2.0, and also an overall economic development update. So that will be at the next meeting on September 28th. Again, my office worked with the Scouts and the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts on the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and I thought, as CJ said, I thought it was a very moving and great event, and we got some really nice pictures, so hopefully we'll be able to post them. And the video, Anna, right, is posted on our website too, right?
It's on YouTube, but we will be posting.
We'll be posting it, so if anyone wants to pick it up, and it was a really great event. And then as CJ mentioned, that we're very pleased that on July 13th, we did get our AAA Moody's rating again, so we're happy about that.
Great. Any questions? Do we have a motion to approve the town manager's report?
I'll make a motion to approve the town manager's report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Item L, appointments.
Agenda item L2, I make a motion that Rich Berlandi be appointed to the Conservation and Inland Wetlands Commission for a 4-year term beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2025.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
L2, L3, go ahead.
Agenda item L4, I make a motion that Neil...
No, it's L3. That should be L3.
L3?
Yeah.
Okay. Agenda item L3, that Neil Kelsey be appointed to the Conservation and Inland Wetlands Commission for a 4-year term beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2025.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Next.
Agenda item L9, that Evan Honeyman be appointed to the Farmington Historic District Commission for a 5-year term beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor?
Just a question on clarification.
Sure.
Why is it a 5-year term?
They're all
Is it always 5 years?
They're generally
Oh, okay.
5-year terms. What happened was, Brian, some of the terms were muddled over the years, and somehow they got off of term. So it'll be a 5-year term. I think the last time, was he filling out at the end of a term, Paul, last time, do you recall?
He was appointed to fill a term that ended September 30th of this year,
Okay,
or is ending, and this is a new, brand-new 5-year term.
gotcha. Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Next.
Agenda item L11, that Maureen Frink be appointed to the Housing Authority for a 5-year term beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2026.
Second.
Motion is second. All, any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Agenda item L12, that Sally Hatzenbuehler be appointed to the Housing Authority for a 5-year term beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2026.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Agenda item L20, that Philip Dunn be appointed to the Water Pollution Control Authority for a 5-year term beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2026.
Second.
I have a motion is second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Agenda item L21, that Ann Wolfling be appointed to the Unionville Historic District and Properties Commission for the balance of a 5-year term beginning immediately and ending September 30th, 2022.
Second.
I have a motion is second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
L22, I move that Barbara Marsh be appointed to the Unionville Historic District and Properties Commission as an alternate member for a 3-year term beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2024.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any comments?
I also just wanted to say a few words about her.
Absolutely, yeah, thank you.
Barbara is currently serving as alternate on the committee. She's greatly enjoyed her time on the commission and has participated in many discussions and activities that have helped keep Unionville a historic center and viable modern community.
Sorry, Peter. Thank you very much, Ed. I apologize. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
We got to back up to agenda item L7, that Bob Reeve be appointed to the Economic Development Commission for a 2-year term beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2023.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Agenda item L8, that Bill Wadsworth be appointed to the Economic Development Commission for a 2-year term beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2023.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Yep. And L24, I move that Steve Meyer be appointed to the Unionville Historic District and Properties Commission as an alternate member, starting immediately for the remainder of the term.
Right.
Second?
I have a motion and a second.
And I have a few words I'll say about him,
absolutely.
too. So Steve grew up in Unionville, and he spent his career in the historic preservation field and is a practiced preservationalist and restorationalist, and he will bring valuable perspectives and skills to the commission.
Great, thank you. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Is that it for you guys?
Yep, that's your turn.
I have two. The Chamber of Commerce has reached out for item L5. They give a representative for the economic development, and they've asked that Dan Kleiman be reappointed.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
And Joe that made that motion?
What's that?
Shouldn't.
Oh, yes, he should. Actually, Kathy was asking someone else to make the motion.
Oh, yes,
Joe, make the motion.
Got it on paper for me?
Dan.
No.
Dan Kleiman.
Here, I'll take it, Joe.
Thanks, Josh.
I make agenda item L5 that Dan Kleiman be appointed to the Economic Development Commission for a 2-year term beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
I have one more. This would be L19, and this is the union representation for the retirement board. And Paula, let me spell the name, and then someone can make the motion. It's Chris, C-H-R-I-S, and the last name is J-E-S-U-D-O-W-I-C-H. And that's the union rep. And
Peter?
That's you.
You're up.
you could,
I make a motion to L19, right?
yep, L19.
That Chris
Jesadowich.
Jesadowich,
Thank you.
beautiful.
We apologize,
To
Chris.
the retirement board for the balance of a 2-year term beginning immediately and ending January 2022.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
That's it.
That is it for
Loaded them up tonight.
all of L. Okay, moving on to item N, new business.
I make a motion, agenda item N1, to name the turf field at Tungus Mead the Setlow Family Field per the request of the Farmington Soccer Club.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Kathy?
The Farmington Soccer Club reached out to our office, and they wished to name the turf field at Tungus Mead for Dr. Peter Setlow. Dr. Setlow has coached teams in Farmington longer than any other coach, starting in 1977 and continuing for an incredible 44 years. He also served as vice president of the club since 1980, where his main task was to manage the concession stand, which is the soccer club's main source of income. Furthermore, Dr. Setlow donated $100,000 to ensure the completion of the turf field. The request meets the criteria of the Manager Policies and Procedures, MPP, naming of town-owned properties and features. The soccer club will be donating the plaque with the family name near the players' benches facing the stands. The new turf field has proven to be a great addition to Tungus Mead, as it's the most used field at the park. The Recreation Department rents the field 3 or 4 times a week, and when available to local premier teams. In the fall, Farmington High School teams use the field for practice as well as for JV games and for varsity games in inclement weather. So I think that this would be a great name for our turf field.
Great. Any questions? We did have a motion and a second, right?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Next.
Agenda item N2, to establish a town council ad hoc committee to work with the town staff to make recommendations to the town council on the next steps in following the American Rescue Plan Act, the coronavirus state and the local fiscal recovery funds, federal stimulus monies received by the town of Farmington.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, Kathy. What's that?
Are you going to fill in the members' names?
Yes.
Yeah.
We will. Do you want to put that will be Brian and Joe?
Yeah. Town council member Joseph Capitafero and town council member Brian Conley.
Second.
All right, re-second to second?
You can re-second it now.
Second.
Okay. Kathy?
So you can see in our note that Farmington is anticipated to receive $7,500,000 plus or minus in funding through the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds program to address the economic fallout related to the pandemic. We've already received $3,700,000 in June. We're expected to receive another $3,700,000 in June of 2022. We must obligate the funds by December 31st, 2024, and funds must be fully expended by December 31st, 2026. There's guidance that how you spend these funds come from the U.S. Department of Treasury, and I've listed in the note some of the guidelines, some of the ineligible uses, and potential uses that so far haven't really been clear if we can use the money or not. I'm recommending that we set up this ad hoc committee similar to the ad hoc committee that was established for the next steps concerning the Parsons property. It was my thought that the town council members and town staff will form a working group to review the guidelines, determine next steps, and eventually make recommendations on eligible projects to the town council.
Sounds good. Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Agenda item N3, that the following appropriation transfers be made from and to the accounts listed below in the fiscal year 2020-2021 general fund budget. You want me to read through all these? Or? No.
No, as
Okay.
attached.
Okay, as attached.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Kathy?
So the motion is that you're transferring money from departments, that's the first part, $434,000 into the other departments below. Joe did a very nice job on the details in the back. I just wanted to kind of summarize some items and then open it up for questions. I would say, in general, we had a really great revenue year. So we had a great revenue year, and much of that was driven by the housing market. The housing market and building permits. Paula's office was incredibly busy and with the conveyance tax and really brought in a ton of revenue for us. So we had a great revenue year. We had a good expenditure year. The town returned $241,685, and the school system returned $378,572. So these were funds for various reasons that we did not use, so we returned those funds. And in Joe's narrative, you can see some of the reasons why we were able to return some funds. Overall, our grants were on target. Our federal grants were on target, so that's good. As you know, last few years, we weren't sure what kind of grants we were getting, so we were in some ways underfunding our grants because we weren't sure we were going to get them. And this year, we thought we were pretty confident what grants we were going to get, and with Joe's knowledge, we pretty much hit the target on our grants. So that was good, and thank you to the state of Connecticut for that. In summary, for fiscal year 2021, general fund revenues exceeded budget amounts by $1,606,778, and expenditures were less than budgeted amounts by $600,599, resulting in a positive result of operations totaling $2,207,377. When this amount is added to the unassigned fund balance, it increases the general fund unassigned fund balance to $18,354,700, or 15.81% of fiscal year 21-22 operating revenue. So I would say in general, financially, we had a very, very strong year. I think that we're in a good spot for our high school project coming up, and also with our federal stimulus money, and I think we've positioned ourselves in a very good position going forward.
Great, thank you. Questions? Chris?
Kathy, for a quick recollection, percentages, where do we want to run our fund balance? Like, we've given ranges in the past, right? So just where do we like that target number to be?
Right. Joe, what's the range?
We've always looked at being around the 15% range, but unfortunately, it's always a moving target. The goal used to be at between 10 and 15%, and that was that movie standard. Unfortunately, that standard is now 15 to 20%. So, but our policy says 15%.
Okay, thank you. Just a refresher. Thank you.
Other questions? Hearing none. Very good year. That was some positive news there. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Agenda item N4, I make a motion to award a contract for the purchase of one 2023 International Model HV 5007 heavy-duty cab and chassis to Nutmeg International Trucks Incorporated, of Hartford, Connecticut, at a purchase price of $94,510.42.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Kathy?
This motion is to contract with a vendor to purchase a heavy-duty cab and chassis that will be outfitted to be used as a heavy dump truck by the Highway and Grounds Department for their daily operations, including snow plowing. It will replace a 1998 heavy-duty dump truck. Funds in the amount of $188,000 were included in 21-22 capital budget. The remaining funds will be used to purchase the dump truck, the dump body, and the other accessories once the cab and chassis are delivered. This was done on cooperative bid, so it's the low bid.
Great. Any questions, comments?
Just one question,
Yeah.
Kath. Do we know, the truck that it's replacing, do we know what's going to happen with that truck? Does it stay in circulation, or will we be selling that?
The truck will be put up for auction. We go through a surplus auction house, and we'll put the truck up for auction. Based on the market, we expect we'll get some pretty decent money for it. It's very successful selling these heavy-duty dumps to smaller contractors, actually throughout the country. The last one we sold to Texas.
Great, thank you very much. Just curious.
All right, thank you. Other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Agenda item N5, I make a motion to award a contract for the purchase of one model number M1221 Toolcat 5600 utility work machine with accessories to Bobcat of Connecticut, Incorporated of East Hartford, Connecticut, at a purchase price of $78,129.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Kathy?
This motion is to contract with a vendor to purchase a Toolcat 5600 utility work machine. The machine will be used by the Grounds Division for snow removal, spraying, field maintenance, and rails to trails maintenance. It will be replacing an existing Toolcat, which is 12 years old and has more than 2,000 operating hours. Funds are in the 21-22 capital budget. And this was, again, done by cooperative bid, so it is the low bid. And the reason why the council's looking at it is because the value exceeds over $50,000.
Any questions? Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Agenda item N6, I make a motion to award a contract for the purchase of treated road salt for the 2021-2022 winter season to Cargill, Inc. of Boston, Mass. at a purchase price of $67.54 per ton.
I'll second, but you did skip 6. You got 7.
What's that?
I think you went above 1, but.
We need
Six
N6.
is for the-
Number 6.
For the radios.
For the radio?
Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Do we have a
It's all right,
typo?
you'll go back,
No.
you'll go back.
Okay, do N7. We have a motion. Peter, Jude?
I just did N6.
No.
Oh, there's a
There's a glitch.
There's a
Okay,
glitch.
let's do,
on the
On the
screen,
electronic
on the electronic
Oh.
version.
Uh-huh, good
Yes,
old paper.
yes, yes.
All right, here I am, picking on the bad guy.
No. So we'll be,
Old school wins.
old school letter 6 is correct. So
right.
you're correct.
Do you want me to read that again?
No.
I'll second.
okay, we got a motion and a second for the road salt. Any comments?
Okay, the purpose of this motion is to contract with a vendor to supply treated road salt, which will be used by the Highway and Grounds Division on snow and ice-covered roads and sidewalks during the upcoming winter season. This is the lowest price at $67.54 per ton. It's estimated that we'll use 2,000 tons during the upcoming winter season, bringing the value of this award to approximately $135,000. We have funds in the budget for this, and this was done through the Capital Region Purchase Cooperative bid.
Very nice. Any questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Is N7 N7?
N7 is N7, the radio.
The radios.
Yep.
I make a motion to award a contract for the purchase of 10 portable radios and accessories to Motorola Solutions Incorporated of Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey, at a total contract price of $50,000.
Second.
Motion and second. Kathy?
The purpose of this motion is to contract with Motorola's to supply 10 portable radios and accessories to be used by the Farmington Police Department. The radios will be interoperable and will allow the user to communicate with police officers from other towns who use different frequencies. The estimated value of this contract is $50,000. We have money in the budget, and this would be under the state of a cooperative bid.
Any questions or comments? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Agenda item N8, I make a motion to approve the following property tax refunds as
Yes,
listed
you're right.
below.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Standard. Any questions, comments?
There's just a note, this is 2 months' worth of refunds, and it's the end of the season, but it is 2 months.
And I must recuse myself as I am one of those listed here. So, all in favor?
Can we object to that one?
I don't think the other people would appreciate that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, we will be moving into executive session. Before we do so, I would like to quote Dr. Jonas Salk, who said, "I feel the greatest reward for doing is the opportunity to do more." With that, item O.
Make a motion, Executive O1, to discuss matters concerning the sale or acquisition of real property. Members included in the meeting will be the town council members and town manager.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 8:18, we're going into executive session.